Whenever.
Hello, my name is Michael, and I'm here to talk about how general education requirements at the college level are detrimental to the student experience. And it mostly comes down to that there's actually multiple problems with it, is that it's from both that they're repetitive, they're no different really than high school courses. They make you spend more time in college, they make you lose money because they make you have to pay for more classes. And it just doesn't tie into what the focus of college is nowadays. Back in the day, college was about exploring, experiencing new things, and not really just focused on one thing, which was getting a job. But now, today, it's much different. And so, classes need to be structured differently, such as that most classes that were taught are, high school level almost, it felt like. And so, because taking, another English class that we've taken for 12 years already is no different in college, when our classes should be more focused on enforcing our major more, helping us learn more about our field, and in turn helping us find a job. And although some of the GEs do in fact have connection to core classes, most don't. So the point of taking them is not much, and for most of us, the information probably goes in one ear and out the other. And on top of all that, it makes college more expensive, which is already very high in cost and continues to go up in cost. At Cal Poly Pomona alone, a third of our units are roughly GE units. With paying over $100 per unit, over the course of college, you're paying over 20 grand just to take repetitive courses that you've already taken in high school. And then on top of that, makes you have to stay in school longer when you could be already getting out and getting a job. Most people try to go to school for 4 years. Without the general eds, you're going for less than 3 years, if not less. And then even also nowadays, even worse part of college is that you're not guaranteed a job. It's often seen that, mostly depending on major though, that it takes a lot more work to get a job, and even then the jobs you do get are either not in your field or less paying jobs than normal. Which is going to the focus of what college is nowadays, which is to get a job. It's not to experience new things really anymore, even though it should be. But with the focus on jobs, and as this guy, professor of practice at Arizona State College said, Jeffrey J. Salino, on Washington Post article, college was once seen as a place where adolescents went to explore courses and majors before settling on a job and career, often well after graduating. Since then, in both their attitudes and in their choice of majors, college students have increasingly seen a bachelor's degree as a means to an end, a job, which is very true. And then all these requirements on us just add unnecessary stress, take up more of our time that we spend furthering our goal of finding jobs and progressing in our lives. And so all these things, the more money, the repetitiveness, and the reason we go to college, they're detrimental to us as students when we should be expanding our knowledge on what our goal is. And in turn, there are alternatives, make general eds more like electives, more supportive of our other classes rather, or more related to actually life skills needed, how to pay taxes, how to buy a home. Those types of things would be more useful to be taught than another 5-paragraph essay about some article you have no interest in, you'll forget the day after you write that paper. So, in the end, general education should end at the 12th grade level or when you graduate from high school, because that's what the whole point of going through K through 12 is. It's to broaden your horizons and show you a little bit of the world, but college is to be more focused and pinpoint on what you want to be getting into. Thank you.
Right, Michael, the proposition's clearly identified at the beginning of the speech, although it shifts a bit during the course of the presentation from a factual claim to an argument about policy, with suggesting what we ought to be doing at the end. That's not necessary, and that creates complications. The contents of the speech are previewed. There's not a strong numerical structure to them, but I think we got the general idea of the points that you're trying to present. The controversy on this, I'm not exactly sure how widespread this is. Obviously, it's your opinion, and you see something that's problematic about it. I would think that it wouldn't be too hard to find some information that suggests there are other students that share your lack of enthusiasm for GE classes, or, for example, some professions that think that we should be focusing more on major-based instruction. And by the way, the idea would probably go the other direction. In other words, if that's what happened, then you'd still be here 4 years. They'd just give you 16 more units that you had to get in your major as the way to address that. I'm not exactly sure. They'd say, oh, let's cut 2 years off of college and get rid of the GE requirements. I think they'd say, let's add 12 more classes if you're going to have a major, that's the way. But that's a hypothetical based on the policy that you're talking about, and that's one of the things that's a little bit problematic when you get to those policy arguments. Internally, I didn't think it was signposted as clearly. At the beginning, it sounded like you had a structure, but I'm not sure that you did much to emphasize that structure during the speech. And in fact, in the first 2/3 of the speech, it's mostly a series of assertions and explanations on your part. There wasn't really much data. The closest we got to any evidence, it was that there is an estimate that 1/3 of the GE units, 1/3 of the units that people take at Cal Poly are GE units. And then there's a vague reference to some factual data about how much people would have to pay for those units. That makes it a kind of a cost estimate. And again, that's a hypothetical example. That's the closest you get to any hard data in the presentation. Then you have one quote that talks about how the orientation of college has changed and how people are now looking at the bachelor's degree as a means of getting a job, which is interesting because if it doesn't accomplish that, then I'm not exactly sure how taking your position advances that anymore, because you said that people have a difficult time getting jobs even when they get that bachelor's degree. So that seems to be counterintuitive to the point that you're taking. I do think you need to be a little more energetic in the presentation, although you do talk to us very directly, and I think that you explained yourself clearly. I just think that you need a lot more evidence to support your point, and my guess would be that there'll be, there are a lot of arguments about the issues that you've talked about, that any data on that is going to be more responsive to the point than some of the things that you've said. For example, the repetitiveness of the classes, we should be done with that by the time you get through the 12th grade. I would agree, except if you look at placement tests and how well people are doing in their 12th grade English classes, or when they get to college, you'll discover that is a little bit of a problem. So, all right, thank you.